Hi everyone, my name is Rian Brooks-Kane and thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how you can get going with Amazon Connect in as little as 10 minutes. As we all know, this year has resulted in how we work changing dramatically. I was working at home for months and now have adopted a more hybrid working environment. The ability to be able to do your job from anywhere can make a huge difference to your staff and customers. One place I've been helping organizations recently is with their contact center. A lot of companies are still reliant on their on-premise phone system to provide voice services, and as a lot of people are finding out, these PABX systems are either terrible to use remotely or just can't cope with the level of demand staff or customers are putting on it. Welcome to the stage, Amazon Connect. Connect is an omni-channel, cloud-based contact center, meaning it can do both voice and chat. It lets us get up running super fast and can scale with you as well as being easy to use with a graphical interface that I'll be showing you later. Connect can integrate with other AWS services such as Lambda, which basically allows you to do anything you want. Connect supports both inbound and outbound calling, natural language chatbots with Lex for both voice and chat, as well as machine learning powered speech analytics with Contact Lens, which I will go into later. Like all great services, Connect is also pay as you go. You pay for the base system usage, then the calls on top. Now, one thing I want to call out is Amazon Connect is a contact center solution. It's not a one-to-one replacement for a phone system. So for example, you can't connect a SIP phone to it. So make sure you review requirements with what Connect can do. The great thing is we can test and experiment really quickly. Let's go to the AWS console and see what it takes to set up Connect. Alright, so now we're in the AWS console. I've gone to the Amazon Connect service. Because I don't have any Connect services set up in this account at the moment, you're going to get the getting started page. So we're going to hit get started. Now the first thing we need to do is set up identity management. So you can use the built-in Amazon Connect database, or we can use an existing directory such as Active Directory, or we can use SAML-based authentication with any IDPs that you have. So first I'm going to give a name for this instance. And then we're going to hit next. Now we can set up a admin inside the instance, but for the sake of this demo, I am just going to skip this one. Now Connect can be used for both inbound and outbound calls. That may seem a little bit silly, but for certain instances, you may not want to have inbound or you may not want to have outbound calls. So this is where you can specify that. Everything in Connect, we have it's stored. So we have like things like call recordings or logs and that sort of thing. So Amazon Connect uses S3, KMS for the data encryption, and obviously you have CloudWatch logs. Now we can expand this out, and you'll see here, this is where the different types of data will get stored inside your bucket. And we also have our flow logs, which get put into the CloudWatch logs. So we're just going to accept the defaults and hit next. This gives us a bit of an overview of what we're going to create. And since we're all happy with this, we're going to hit create. Now our first instance has been created. So what I'm going to do just quickly is open up our access URL in a different tab. So that will look like this, and this is how we're going to log into our Connect instance. But firstly, we need to set everything up. So what we're going to do is hit getting started. Now, this takes us to the control panel for Connect. And this is where we're going to configure everything. Now, because we know what we're doing, we're going to hit skip for now and not follow the wizard. So the first thing that we need to do is claim a phone number, because this is how we're going to get people to connect and call us. So what we're going to do is come down to our routing and click phone numbers. We're going to go over to the side and click claim number. And inside here, we're going to grab a toll-free number. Now we have two different types of numbers. There's toll-free and DID, like we talked about before in the pricing. Toll-free, obviously the caller doesn't pay for anything. So we're going to take our first number here. We're not going to assign it to anything yet. We're going to click save. Next we're going to do is we need to set our hours of operation for this call center. So what we're going to do is come down to hours of operation, and we're going to set up a new hours of operation. So we're going to be doing this for our IT support desk. So we're going to say IT support. We are going to set that to Brisbane. And for the sake of this demo, our help desk likes to stay open nice and late. So we're going to set this to 10 p.m. But as you can see here, we can kind of have multiple schedules and selecting what we need. Perfect, so that's our hours of operation. So the next thing we need to do is create a queue. So a queue is where people sit on hold and wait for our agents to pick up. So we're going to add a new queue. This is going to be our IT support queue. And then we're going to give it our hours of operation. We're going to enter a outbound caller ID. We're also going to use our toll-free number as our outbound. So what we're going to do is set a limit. I'm going to set this one to 9. It's a good idea to set limits for your queues, just because there's maximum connection limits to connect, or you only have so many people you want to sit in a queue, and this will trigger error states along your queue, so you're able to then handle what happens if you're at your limit. So what we're going to do is go add new queue, and that's created our IT support queue. So next we're going to create flows. Now this is really the meat and potatoes of Amazon Connect. Flows are basically a workflow that defines the customer experience in your contact center. As you can see here, we've got quite a few default and sample flows, which are great for getting started and learning how things go together. And if you look over here to the right, we can create quite a few different flows. So I'll just go through them quickly. A contact flow, which is this sort of first major one. They're sort of the generic flow type that defines an inbound contact flow. We have our customer queue flows. This defines what the customer experiences while in the queue before an agent takes their call. We have our customer hold flows. These define what the customer experiences while on hold. We have our customer whisper flows, which defines what the customer experiences just before they are joined to an agent. We have our outbound whisper flows. This defines what the customer experiences on an outbound call before being connected to the agent. We have a agent hold flow. This defines what the agent experiences when on hold with a customer. We have our agent whisper flows. This defines what the agent experiences as part of an inbound call just before they are joined with the customer. And then we have our transfer to agent flows, which defines what the agent experiences when transferring to another agent, and transfer to queue flows, which defines what an agent experiences when transferring to another queue. So what we're going to do is create our contact flow. All right, so first things first, we're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this the support queue. And as you can see here, this is workflow interface. So what we're able to do is really actually quite awesome. It's drag and drop, and we can wire together how this call flow is going to go. Now what we're going to do is do a few settings first. Everything sort of starts at this entry point, and then sort of follows the connecting lines as such to the end. Now, all the settings that I'm going to kind of show here aren't necessarily required, and as you sort of see, we'll be defining some of the default settings anyway, but what I'm going to do is configure a few of them just to show you what they do. So first things first, we're going to define the queue. So what we're going to do is go set, and we're going to set our working queue. So as you can see, we just drag in the object. We can click on it then, and that comes up with our settings box to the right. As you can see here, we can then grab the queue. When you're doing some more advanced stuff, you can start using things like attributes, and this is where you can start bringing in things like lambda or lex or other captured attributes that you're using. But for now, we're going to define our queue to the IT support queue. And then because we need to link it up, we're going to draw our arrow from start to our queue. Awesome. So what we're going to do next is we're going to enable logging. So we're going to touch our set logging behavior. So this is just making sure that we're enable logging and dumping that out to CloudWatch Lodge so we can use that for analysis and monitoring and that sort of thing. So we'll take it from the success and dump it out to enable. I'll cover what error sort of does later. So for this queue, we're going to have call recording. So we're going to grab our call recording box. We're going to turn on call recording. We're going to say that it's for the agent N customer. What I'm going to also do here is enable contact lens. This is providing sort of speech analytics around the recordings. I'm going to set this to Australia. And there's also an option here where it will try to redact personal information. I'll go over contact lens a little bit later in the presentation. So we'll draw that one up. So that's our call recording. Then what we're going to do is specify our hold flow. And on this one, we're going to use our default agent hold. Now, as you can see there, it's sort of talking about the default agent. So what I will do is just quickly pull up contact flow, and I'll show you what that default agent hold looks like. So it's just another type of flow, and as we can see here, it basically is just looping saying, you're on hold. Great. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set the customer queue flow. So this one here just specifies what flow to run when a customer is transferred to the queue. Just going to put that one in there and draw it together. Next one we're going to do is set a default whisper. So whispers, once again, are sort of recordings or text or that sort of thing that are played to the agent or customer just before they get connected. So we're going to have our default agent whisper. The next, the all-important thing is telling Polly which voice to use. So I'm going to use an Australian language. As you can see here, wide support for all the different languages. And we're going to use Nicole. So first things first is we're going to start making some decisions. And to do that, we're going to use the branch menu. So in the branch menu, what we're first going to do is check our hours of operation. So what that does is make sure that we in hours or out of hours, and then decide what to do from there. So after that, we're going to check our staffing. And here, this is what we do, is looking if we have people available in the queue. So we're going to take our in hours and then go to staffed. Now what we can do is, that's obviously we've tested that, hey, we're all staffed and ready to go. So what we can do is we can then transfer a call to the queue. Now we need to sort of handle some of eventualities when, let's say, we're out of hours or we don't have any staff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to use our poly text to speech. So we're going to play a prompt. So this first prompt is going to be that the contact center is currently closed. So let's just type a message for that. Awesome. And then what we're going to do is, from our out of hours, we're going to go to that message to say we're closed. And then, because we are keeping this simple, we're just going to hang up. Now, if we have some problems where, say, system has an error or at capacity and that sort of thing, what a lot of contact centers will just do is this simple one. And what we're going to do is, when we send out that message, we're just going to hang up. But what we need to do is hook up together these errors and our at capacity. So what I'll do is I'll quickly do that, and it's simple as just drawing these together. Now obviously this probably wouldn't be the way you would do it in a real contact center, but for the sake of the demo, this is going to work for us. So up the top here, this is sort of where we get some version control going on. So we can save, and nothing goes live to the system until we hit publish. Ooh. So now what we can see here is it's checked and gone that we have some problems, so that all outputs must be connected. So what I'm going to do here is just take the at capacity and the error and send it to a hang up. I'll save that again. We can see here we start to get some versions, and we're going to publish again. All right, so as you can see, this can sort of start to get a little bit messy, but I'm keeping this on a small screen so you can see it all. Now that we've got that, let's start hooking it all together. So if we grab our phone number, take our phone number, and we're going to send it to our support queue. So that support queue flow. Now next, what we need to do is a routing profile. So routing profile is basically a way to handle what agents will get attached to what queues, and you can obviously specify voice and chat as well. So we're just going to call this one support. We're going to grab our support queue, voice only for this one, and our outbound will be IT support. So if they're calling out from the queue, it's just going to terminate them and put them into that IT support queue. So we'll add that profile. Now what we're going to do is quickly create our agent. Our new user. I'm going to call my mate Steve. And select that routing profile we collected earlier. There's multiple security sort of profiles, so this just depends what they get access to inside the console. But Steve is just an agent. We can specify if they're using a soft phone or desk phone. For the desk phone, it just reroutes to a phone number that you have. You can do auto accept if you want to be a little bit cruel to your agents, and also if you have your after call workout time as well. So after call work is basically the amount of downtime an agent gets after the call, and we'll just leave this one for 0. So I'll create our user. Now, what we've actually done there is created everything. So next, I'll show you how a call comes through. Let's log in as Steve and take our call. So we're going to sign in. Now we can use any of the microphones and stuff attached to our computer. Now we also have the option of forwarding the calls to a phone number as well. But for this demo, we're going to use a soft phone. We can use the dial number to dial out, as well as any quick contacts that we've set up for the queue. So let's set ourselves available to take the first call.
IT support.
Hello, my name is Ryan. Welcome to IT support. How can I help you?
Hi, my password isn't working. I was wondering if you can help me.
Sure, let me reset your password. Okay, I've reset it. Can you try now?
Yep, everything's working now.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's all, thanks.
Perfect. Have a great day. And that there is how you take a call with Amazon Connect. Contact Lens for Amazon Connect provides machine learning based analytics for your calls. This allows you to extract valuable information from your customers' conversations and provide insights where you might not have before. Contact Lens gives you automatic transcription of your calls while being able to redact personally identifiable information, and it also determines sentiment trends for the conversation. You can also define rules that allow you to detect issues and categorize calls. It's simple to set up, as you saw in the demo, and it's pay as you use as well. Full data from the analysis, as you can see here on the right, is available too, allowing you to extract this and use it where you need with your data intelligence tools. Let's have a look and see what this looks like in the console. Amazon Connect also has some really powerful search functionality, especially when we have our call recording and contact lens enabled. So here you can see we can search for our contacts and go through that. And we can also start looking for things like words and phrases, our sentiment score, non-talk time, and any other additional fields we would like to use. Let's have a look at the call we just had before. So as we can see here, this is our contact trace report. Now the agent that took it was Steve, and it came in on the IT support phone number. You can see here, and this is pretty typical of a lot of sentiment trends on IT support. You start out negative, where people are saying, hey, I'm having a problem, and you end out positive once you've resolved it. We can see here, overall, our sentiment was positive, and we didn't really have any non-talk time, which is great. Categories are when we create our rules to match against certain text, and it'll show up here. And then we can see our full transcript. So you can play this end to end, and that will go through the full transcript as we're going. So you can see here at the start, we had a positive sentiment. Something wasn't working, so a negative sentiment, and then we move on throughout the call. And we can see we have the full transcript. And if we want some more information, we can see what we have here. From the connection, what queue it was in, how long did it last, and the total agent time, including our total interaction and how long the agent spent after the call. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for today. I hope I was able to help you learn something about Amazon Connect and that maybe it might be a great fit for you. Have a great day.